Hey, I just wanted to pop on here because my whole awakening journey, I thought my awakening began last year, but I think it truly began in 2021, and just the shit completely and utterly hit the fan then, and just everything just came full throttle to me in ways that I had to, for once in my life, for the first time in my life, I had to do it myself. I had to get through all of it, and it was the darkest time for me, and it was pretty scary at times, but I had to pull myself through it without seeking for help outside of myself. And although it was really lonely and scary, it was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. And through that last year, I know that it was my real, I don't know how to say it, but maybe it was another awakening, I don't know, but I was truly awoken to it. Like the last 5 years, I was unaware. I just thought things were just happening. It was just life was just going, and it was just one thing after the other, and it was just endless. But I now see that was the dark night of the soul for me. That was such a process. I just went into complete hermit. I was just the lowest I've ever been. But I know that it had to be like that. And last year was the true awakening for me, when I truly awoke and woke up to the fact that I am a soul having a human experience. And the channelers and the readers that were brought to me to help me along my journey, because I had no faith in myself whatsoever. I didn't trust my intuition. I didn't trust anything about myself still. That I know that I have been, and it was just such a deep inner knowing that what I was hearing, it just made my life and my journey that I have been through made so much sense to me. And it was just like all these puzzle pieces clicking into place, like these huge things. And it was really, I know I went through another dark night of the soul, and it was really, really fully dealing with all the inner shit that I have not dealt with, all the traumas and everything else that I hadn't dealt with. I had to really face it. And again, I was led so divinely through that, and the resources and the people to help me truly rewire my nervous system and me to how I've lived my whole life. And the real thing is just completely and utterly, we just self-abandon ourselves for others, and we believe when we do that, and we're taught that that's normal, that's passed on through generations, and that's not anyone else's fault, but that's what they've been taught and programmed, and it just continues and continues to the point where someone has to come in and be the generational curse breaker. They have to break those chains and those conditions, because they're not real. Like, you have to choose and love yourself first. I completely and utterly self-abandoned myself. I literally poured into everyone else, people pleasing, doing everything I possibly could for some kind of validation, to get that validation from outside of myself, that from me doing that, I was going to then receive what I deserved. And that is just so deluded in so many ways. Like, you have to, like I've had to really go deep. There's so many of these triggers and patterns, and the way I felt about myself, the way I spoke about myself in just every area of my life. I just hated myself, and I've had to really work on myself, and I'm actually getting to the point where I'm actually feeling comfortable in my own skin. I'm starting to really appreciate me, my soul, and my body, and my human, and in a way that everyone should. Like, every single one of us should be loving ourselves from the inside out. And this is nothing to do with ego. This is truly accepting every part of you and knowing how freaking unique and amazing you are in your own right. Take away the shell and all the external, but internally, oh, you're just coded. No one else is coded like you. And it's just, through this, I have learned to surrender and to let go. And through that, I have been led and I have been placed, plopped and taken out of situations that I know that I had to leave. And it just literally, it's just all unfolded. When I fully let go and I trusted, it's been unfolding in the most beautiful way. And it might not feel it at the time because it's all these tower moments and things that have been taken away, and all the beliefs that I thought my life and how my life was going to be, it's just crumbled around me. But I see now it's in the most beautiful way, for me to truly come back to myself, like come back to my 0 point and to me, truly me, without all the conditioning and people pleasing and all the shit that we just think is the way to be and the way to live, the way to be loved, and it's just not. But I think my living situation, I have been so divinely led. And this is one thing that's really, really big, and that really came to me today, is you have to be making the steps and moving in ways that you can for the universe to meet you. In those hopes, those dreams, those manifestations to come in. You can't just be sitting there and just going, okay, I'll leave it up to the universe, doing nothing, sitting on your butt and just wishing for the best. You have to be taking action. You have to be moving forward in the ways that you can in your life right now. And the universe will bring people, places and things into you to help, to give you the resources, to give you the things, to whatever it is for you to be able to continue making the moves step by step. And I know, especially with my living situation, we got to the point, I had literally got to that point where I didn't know, and I just completely surrendered. You know, if I'm not meant to be here, I surrender. But in that, I had to make moves of also helping. I had to get environmental health into the equation, and it took 3 months for them to actually get back to me. But that was all in divine timing, because through my awakening, I'd got to a point where I know before I wasn't ready to. But here it was scary, and they came in, and literally within 2 days I had to be moved. And I even know with that, it was just so divinely led. Like, I would have, majority of people get put into a hotel, and that's what I was told. I literally had to move out the next day, that this emergency order was placed by the council. We had to move out immediately. And the next day, I know I was told that we'd probably be put into a hotel, and the things that were going through my mind, and all this worry and all the questions. And I ended up going to the council, and I had to fill out paperwork, and she actually sat and she said to me that they were going to have to put me in a hotel. But luck have it, that very morning, that a room became available in a hostel, and she took it for us straight away. And literally in that moment, I knew all those fears and all those questions about what if I did this, what if I did that, just went. I just knew that my angels, my guides, whoever you resonate with, my higher self, that was all divinely done for me, because I didn't have to go into a hotel, because I would have literally been in a room with 3 young boys, one autistic son, and no kitchen facilities, no washing facilities, literally just a room. And there are so many families that have to go through that. And I take my hat off to them. And I know if I had done it, I would have dealt with it. But the fact that that very morning that I literally went to the council and I had to do all the things, that very morning, a room became available in a hostel for me. And this hostel, when I came to see it, it literally, it's like a palace compared to where we've been living. And the room, everything about it, the room that we're located, there's like 3 rooms on the floor, so we're sharing the lounge, the kitchen and the bathrooms. I'm situated literally, the lounge is outside and it's perfect. It was literally in the kitchen's there, it's like our own. And obviously there, as you walk in the door through there's other 2 rooms and then the bathrooms. But for me, Theodore especially, my youngest, he goes through phases of waking up, has sleep regression, and he wakes up at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and he's loud. And I was just so grateful that we were here, because we were shut off from the others a little bit more. So those families, poor families, didn't have to be disturbed as much. But it's just everything. It was just so divinely led that this was, and it was just, I have been in such gratitude since being here. My youngest son is thriving here. My other boys, all they've ever known is house shares, to live in a house share. They've never known to live by themselves. So that for them, for us, it wasn't a huge, massive, big shift. Whereas some families, well, most families, it's huge. They've gone from living by themselves to having to share with these other people and other people's energy, and it's a lot. Like, it was a lot when we first came here, the energies and, you know, the atmosphere, but you learn to adapt and you make the best of it. And I think I've been so full of gratitude. And I know another one of the women who was here like 10 months, and finally she moved out and she got the place, and she was like, oh, it'll be yours. And to be honest, I genuinely, so I'm happy here. It's fine. I was expecting to be here like another 3-4 months at least. Majority of people are here 10 months to a year. You know, it all varies. And I think it's because I just completely and utterly, I didn't focus on it. I just trust in divine timing, and I let it go. My boys are happy here. They've got a garden, which is lovely. They're playing outside with people from family that are downstairs, and I'm just so grateful, and we're just so happy. And I think last week it was just so unexpected that on the Thursday I got a call saying that we're being moved to temporary accommodation, to a 2-bedroom flat. And the only downside is that we don't have a garden, but there's plenty of parks around. But I think the realisation of, oh shit, we've only been, like, I've been in this hostel for just over 6 months, and we've already got temporary accommodation. And I don't think I realised how much I have longed for our own space, with not having to share with anyone else's energy and anyone else. Like, for the last 8 years, that's what, and I'm not saying that it was because we made it work, you do, but it's when it's like such a, like, oh my God, for the first time, my 3 younger boys are actually going to experience having a home with no one else, no other people that aren't in our family. We're not going to have to share bathrooms or kitchens or lounge. It's just going to be our space. And that really hit home for me, at how much I have truly longed for so long. And I'm just in awe. And I'm here to say that when you truly surrender, when you've done the inner work and you follow when you go through your awakening and you surrender to the unknown, to not knowing the steps forward, but just having this deep inner trust and knowing that it feels so right that you have to follow where you've been led. Like, I have been so divinely led with people, places and things, channelers, readers, and every step of the way, however dark it's got, I know that there's been light at the end of the tunnel, and it continues to amaze me. And again, this is huge. Yes, people can say, well, you knew you were going to move out, but for me, it's because I know I surrendered. I wasn't pinning my hopes. When's it going to be? When's it going to be? When you're constantly thinking, when are we going to move out? When am I going to move out? When are we going to finally go? I was just so content with where I am, so blissfully happy, seeing my children thrive and be happy. We're living life. I was being present. And it's then when the universe comes in and meets you and says, okay, here we go. And for me, that might not be big for anyone else, but for me and my boys, it's huge. We are going to have our own space. I can decorate it how I want. It's just us. And it's just so powerful. And it is really learning to trust. Fully trust and surrender. And when you do, and it's trusting and surrendering to the unknown, not knowing the steps forward. Like, I have been so divinely led to let go of so much with no physical proof of what the next step is and what's going to happen and what. It's just this deep inner knowing that I know the pull to follow it. And every step of the way that I have allowed and I have let go and followed what I felt I needed to cut cords with and let go of and move away from, it's been the best thing that could have happened. And I'm beyond grateful. And when you truly are grateful and present in your own life, that's when miracles and manifestation are swirling around you and you are open for them to come in. When you surrender the control, when you surrender the constant need to know the outcome, that's not how the new earth works. That's not how. You're here to live. You're meant to create and move before there's physical proof. That's the whole point. And when you do, the universe meets you with things that are beyond your imagination and beyond your wildest dreams. Like, I didn't realise how much I longed to have my own space. Like, I know, but I had just surrendered so much that I was at peace where we are. I expected to be here another, for at least 4 months, and that's good. We had a roof over our head. My boys are happy. We've got a garden. We were living with nice people, and I know it can be different because there can be times. And don't get me wrong. When I first moved in here, there was a family, and the energy was a lot, and it did take time, but you work through it and you make the best of it, and it ended up being fine. The kids were all playing together and it was so much nicer. And it's just being so grateful, live in gratitude, like real gratitude for your life. Be present in your life. Like, that's my whole life. I've been constantly seeking and wanting to know the next step, and I'm constantly, what's going to happen? We all just want to know the outcome, and it's learning to be so present in your life, like truly grateful. Like, look what you have. There's so many of us are constantly, well, I want this, I want that, someone else has got this, comparing ourselves and constantly judging ourselves, and it's not better, and constantly wanting to do better, achieving better, because we think in that we're going to get more of what we want, we're going to get more love, we're going to get more this. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to stop abandoning yourself, start choosing yourself and loving yourself. Do the inner friggin' healing. I don't care what anyone else says. Anyone that has trauma and has shit and depression and anxiety is there for it's been triggered because of a trauma, an experience that you've had that you've not dealt with. It all comes back to even generation things that are passed down to you, that it just continues until you actually face them, and then you can face them and deal with them and start healing it. That's when you can start moving on with your life and you start thinking differently. And it's just mind-blowing at how there is magic all around us. And to the unawakened people, I know I'm not going to resonate with you, and that's fine. But the people that I show up on your page and you find me, there's reasons for that. There is reasons for that. Like, oh my God, I'm just in awe. I really am. I'm just so grateful for everything that's been unfolding and that's been happening for me, not to me. It's been for my family, even though it might feel really shit at the time and like this upheaval, but actually looking at it and stepping away, they've all been, all these things, all these tower moments, everything that's happened has happened for us, not to us. And when you can truly live in the gratitude and trust in the unknown and just keep making those steps even when you don't know what the outcome is going to be, but it's fully trusting because there's just such a deep inner knowing and pull that it is the right thing to do. You are just showing, like I'm being shown that. Like for the first time, I have a 2-bedroom flat and it's going to be just mine and my boys for at least 2 years until we have our permanent housing. But oh my God, that's just, I just want to be hope for people. I want to be that beacon of light for you, that you could be the shittest and lowest place, but I promise you, if you are willing to work on yourself and you're willing to do the inner healing for yourself, not for anyone else, but for yourself, stop abandoning yourself, the universe will respond in the most beautiful, amazing ways that you didn't even know that could happen. And it's just, we've got to have more faith in ourselves. We really have. We are infinite. We are just, we're creation. We are here. We are creators here to create what hasn't been created before. I want to be light for people. I want to be living proof of hope. So, yeah, hope you're having a good day.